didn't even do the class and I'm tired already. Great workout, Joe. Awesome work. A lot of ab work in there today, a lot of focus on what's happening with your bodies. So what I'd like to do is take you a little bit further into that. So today I'm here to maybe reintroduce you to your body. What is body awareness? I also say sometimes, where are you in space? Another way of looking at it is, where is your home spot? All of that ties in with ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Paying attention not only when you're seated, when you're standing, when you're kneeling, when you're lying down, being very aware of where is your body in space. So are you aware that when you stand, maybe one shoulder is higher than the other? Most of us don't even know that until somebody points it out. So we're going to break it down just a little bit today. Please, if you have any questions, just ask. We get a lot more from asking a question than me just feeding you information that maybe just be not where you want to go with this. So first of all, let's just think about what's happening from the crown of the head. And if you look at yourself in the mirror, most of us, our heads are tilted to one side or the other, or chin is forward or pushed back, which causes a lot of issues in the cervical spine, which then goes to the shoulders, and then we have all other kinds of issues going on. So just try to relax your head a minute. So don't tighten by pressing forward. Try not to clench your jaw. Try to relax through your forehead. And just take a couple of breaths. Whatever breath works for you. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, inhale through the mouth, whatever works for you. Just think about where is your head in space. It really helps to be seated in front of a mirror so that as we go through each part, you can actually see what that is. Normally when I teach a body awareness class or a posture class, I always have someone with me so I can totally point out what all of those muscles are and what it is that we're working and what it is that we need to focus on. So I'm going to try to do this by myself a little bit, and hopefully you'll be able to understand. So I'm going to turn sideways. And most of the time we sit in this position. It's kind of a relaxed position. So the belly is not even active, which causes a lot of pressure in that low back. So we wonder sometimes, oh, my back is hurting me. I went to class and now my back hurts. It's not necessarily the back that's hurt, it's the fact that your core wasn't engaged. And I know core is one of those cliche words, and everybody has their own definition of what is core. Is it up here? Is it how I breathe? Is it connected to my hips? What exactly is that? So think about taking the focus to your back by drawing your belly in, which also will lift your posture. So if I'm sitting sideways and I'm here, my shoulders are going to roll forward, my pelvis is going to tuck under in a posterior tilt. So think of lifting your heart, drawing your belly in. Once I draw my belly in, my hips are going to go back into what I call that neutral alignment. And we all have a certain posture. Some are much more hyperextended, some aren't. Some have that high anterior tilt, which means that you're standing with your hips back and you're locking out through the front. So we want to bring that underneath. So if we focus on that, and if we focus on what I call the Bible of your body, and those are your lats and those muscles right underneath your shoulder blade. If they're weak, it causes your shoulders to come forward. So push your fingertips down towards the floor and see if you can feel the muscle that's right underneath your arm. That's going to straighten your posture. It's going to roll your shoulders back, and it's going to take some pressure off of your neck. It also gives you strength. So if you're doing a plank or a push-up or a side angle or anything like that, if you're not engaging those lats, engaging those back muscles, what happens is you're all in the front of the shoulder, which sometimes people say, oh, downward dog really hurts me, hurts my wrist, hurts my shoulders, because we're not using the back of the body to be as important as the front of our body. So imagine if you did only quad work and you didn't do anything behind. Let's say you never did hamstring work. Can you imagine the imbalance in your body? So the same thing happens here if I'm not working the back part of my spine. So I can pull from here all day long, but what I'm using is the front part of the body. So if I'm reaching forward, I want to pull my shoulders back first, then I want to pull the elbows back down towards your hips. Try not to bring them up here, especially if you're already rotated through the front. So we're going to reach forward, we're going to pull the shoulders down first, and then pull that rope way down by your hips. Nothing else in your body is going to react. So in other words, if I'm going to push back, I'm not going to do a back row here by pulling my chest forward. You don't want this to move. This stays in what we call that neutral spine, also what I call your home spot. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. So even before you start any type of an exercise, always try to go back into that awareness. Go back into where your home spot is. So if you try to balance and you're standing here, nothing's going to happen. You're going to fall over. So go back and say, okay, before I even start to move, before I pick up a weight, before I do anything, let me go back and check in with myself. Shoulders over the hips, belly pulled in. Don't lock the knees. It causes you to hyperextend. Leave the knees soft. So now if I pick up my leg, I have control of the center of my body. So many times I hear my clients and my students say to me, I just can't balance. And I'll tell them, show me what you're doing. Well, usually the only thing that's happening is that their body alignment hasn't compensated for lifting that one leg up. So of course you're not balancing. So imagine, ladies, when you're wearing high heels. So if I put high heels on and I stayed back here, where would I go? I wouldn't go very far and I would fall over. So imagine that when I go up on high heels, I have to readjust my body in order to stay on top of them. So the same thing happens when I try to balance. If your posture is here and you try to balance, you're not going to hold on very well. So go back and check in. Shoulders over hips, belly in, find those muscles underneath, engage, and then as you lift, readjust your body back over the top. Guess what? You can stand there forever, unless, of course, it's just one of those days when the body is just not reacting properly. So go back and always check in with yourself. So I'm only going to focus on things standing today and sitting. And hopefully next week or in coming weeks, we're going to work a lot on what's happening on the floor, how to make your planks stronger, how to make your push-ups more defined. The difference between a military press and a full push-up. But unless you know to engage those proper muscles to make them more effective, then it's not going to happen. So if you say, oh, I've been working out for so many years and I've been in the gym all the time and I still can't do a push-up, chances are the back of your body is giving in. It's collapsing. It's not pulling back and down. So if someone was standing behind me and they put their hands just right underneath on my ribs, you would be able to feel that I'm pushing down into the floor. You're going to feel like the back of your ribs are going into your pocket. So a little exercise I do we call protraction and retraction. Let's say I'm going to reach my arms out. Most of the time we reach our arms out and we're like this. And I tell my classes all the time, don't give me anything. I don't want anything from you right now. I want you to pull back. So can you protract forward and then pull? Remember we talked about pull down on the lats and pull the shoulders together without bending your elbows. So if you can't do this without bending your elbows, guess what? Your shoulders are not pulling back and the mid-back is not activated. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So if I'm going to protract here, I'm going to push down first, and then I'm going to draw my elbows back. Not this. Protract, retract. It doesn't mean that you are retracting up here in your shoulders. We live here. Our whole life is here. When we drive, we're there. In the computer, we're there. If you have kids, you know we're like always bent over. So as you pull back, squeeze back and together. You don't want to feel like the shoulders are coming up. You want to feel like the arms are pulling down. In between your shoulder blades is your scap. It's those little wings that open and close. So imagine you have a peanut in there, or a walnut, or an almond, whatever your favorite little nut is, makes no difference. You're going to reach forward. As you retract, see if you can squeeze that little nut together. So I'm going to turn around just for a second, just so that you can kind of get the idea. Again, if I had someone here, it would be a whole lot easier maybe for you to understand. But just let me give you a basic idea. So let's say I'm going to protract here, and I'm going to do it not the right way. I'm going to go on the incorrect way and see if you can visually see, so that when you look in the mirror at yourself, you'll go, oh, that's what she was talking about. I get it now. So I'm going to protract here. Notice where my shoulders are. Let's say I retract improperly. So do you see where it all goes? It all goes right here. So I'm not using that mid-back. So if I tried to do a push-up right now, I'd probably maybe be able to do one. And I don't want you to get into the habit of working the muscles that aren't helping you, but working the muscles that make you work more effectively and above all, safely, so that we can continue as we go on. I'm an old lady. I've been in this business a really, really long time, and thank God I have not been injured, because I've had trainers and teachers tell me, don't forget behind you. Always. As a dancer, I was always told, stand up straight, don't forget behind you. You don't want to stand up. This is not standing up straight. So open up through your back. So I'm going to protract here, and now I'm going to slide the shoulders down and pull back into that peanut. Did that make any sense at all? Just kind of think about it in your mind. So I didn't do this, because that's not my mid-back or my lats. You're working more upper traps here, and we don't want to get into them. So I'm going to protract. As I retract, think of pushing down and then slide the arms back. So I'm squeezing the peanut, and these muscles here are firing. If you just do protraction and retraction 8 or 9 times, 8 or 9 reps, do it 2 or 3 times a day. I will promise you, you're going to be like, oh my God, I feel like I've been lifting all day, because those muscles didn't come to the party. Those muscles didn't help you stabilize. So if you go to grab something and you're using the front of your body as all of the force, then you wonder why, oh, my shoulders are really hurting me, or I've strained my neck. Because when you went to grab something, you didn't focus on pulling back through those muscles that are in the mid part of your back. That scapula, those lats, all of those things that are going to help you be supported. They're also going to help you balance. So you think of lifting up through the spine. A lot of the things that Joe did in class are things that are so complementary to everything that I'm talking about. Be aware when you lift your arms that they're not up here. You should be able to put a grapefruit, maybe a little exaggeration, but a grapefruit under your ear and not make grapefruit juice. If you can't, because you're lifting your shoulders and you're collapsing, then open your arms out. Guess what? Lats are pulling down, shoulders are squeezing. Lengthen. A lot of times we can't bring our arms this way because our shoulders are so tight and we do this. So bring them out and away, lengthen. So let's go from here, protraction, retraction. Protract, lift the shoulders up high. Don't bend your elbows. Now retract, slide them into your back pockets. Did your arms go wider? Guess what? If your arm, I'm watching Sarah now, so just so you know, she's my model from a distance. So if your arms go wider, that's because your lats aren't engaging, and what you're doing is just dropping your shoulders, but you're not engaging that back that's going to help you drop those shoulders. all of those little things will truly help you be more effective when you're working out. So if you're going to stand and do a lateral bend, and you bend by doing this, you're collapsing in your body. So imagine I'm going to lift my ribs, no hyperextension. So it doesn't mean I'm going to lift and push my butt back, but I'm going to lift and I'm going to reach over by using my hand, not by using my shoulder. Think about that grapefruit or an orange or anything that's going to create some space. Same thing when you do downward dog, you don't want to crunch up into the shoulders. This is such a fragile muscle, especially for women. Men have a much wider muscle mass and they can control it a little more. Women, it's very difficult. We don't have that much of a muscle mass in our shoulders. So focus on what's happening between protraction and retraction. Just try it. See if you can do it without bending your elbows. If you keep sliding and pushing down into those lats, they will help you. They will take the pressure off your neck. They will help you balance. They will help you move more effectively. As we go on, as I said, I'm going to go ahead and start to break it down in different movements and show you the difference between this is what it would look like, this is what it should look like. But just for today, I just wanted to introduce yourself to the back of your bodies. Say hello, bring it to the party. Make sure that no matter what you do, that your body is always balanced. If you're going to do quads, do hamstrings. If you're going to do abs, you've got to work that low back. So if you're going to do shins, you're going to do calves. No matter what it is, let's think about the back of our body. Let's think about making our body so strong and so balanced. I hope you picked up a few little tips here. Hopefully next week we'll add a little bit more, and by the time we're done, we'll all be doing 20 push-ups and moving on with it with no injuries. Now, that was a joke, truly, I can't do 20. But I thank you so very, very much for taking part in this. I hope that you've learned a little something. If you have any questions at all, please post them, ask them. The only way to really learn is to just put it out there so I can help you. Sarah, we have any questions? No questions. Uh-oh. That's okay. I wanted you to learn, and I do hope that you picked up a little bit here. I thank you so much for your time. It was short and sweet, and that's all I ask of you. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much.